So the Rockets wrap up the home schedule undefeated in the Glass Bowl as we welcome in Pete Seymour from the Toledo Rocket Radio Network. Pete, thank you for coming in on this Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, Mark, thanks for having me.
All right, Rockets, we have said this for the last several weeks. They need a win and then get some help. They're doing what they're needed to do. Another win, an impressive win over Ball State this past Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, right now the train keeps on rolling right now, Mark. And how many times this year have I said, well, the Toledo Rockets have come home to another dominant victory, and that's exactly what this was from this past week. All three phases, offense, defense. I know Coach might want to clean up a little bit of those penalties, but you really can't ask too much. You get out to an early lead, and then the defense, that's ranked number 2 in the entire country in total yards allowed, comes onto the field. They do what they've been doing every single week this year, maybe outside of Kentucky, but wow, the defense is really shored up, and the offense right now is complementing that at a very good pace.
Let's continue with that defense for a minute here. Set program records with sacks and TFLs in that win over Ball State.
Yeah, absolutely. 7 sacks in the game, 3.5 TFLs from Kavion Sherman, who is now up to 79 tackles on the year. And I know I mentioned this earlier, but I talked to him earlier this year. And in his first real season starting at the Division I level, I asked him about his goals, and he said, Pete, number one, this might be ambitious, but I want to get 100 tackles. Well, Kavion, hey, you're sniffing that right now. He had another monster game with 3.5 tackles for a loss. Yeah, 17 total tackles for a loss. That last record was 14, I want to say, set back in 2006 or 2007, something like that. So a long-standing record. But, yeah, Ball State, they had some holes to fill on the offensive line, and unfortunately for them, those holes were filled by linebackers or defensive linemen for the Toledo Rockets. A monster game from this fantastic defense.
Toledo's offense, a couple of milestones for the Rockets, including Junior Vanderos. 200th career reception as a Rocket in that win.
Yeah, that puts him 7th in that category, and hey, on special teams, his first ever punt block. How cool is that? And I can tell you, his teammates were so pumped for him coming off the sideline. And talking to Coach Stanton Weber earlier this year, he said the one thing about this program, Mark, is the fact that I don't have to encourage guys to come play special teams. Yeah. They love playing special teams. You see Carter Foudy in on punt is one of the protectors, a senior. And yeah, special teams and junior just having another fantastic year. A bunch of catches, over 100 yards for the 4th time this season. I mentioned to Coach in the coach's show this week that if I had a nickname for him, I'd call him Mr. Consistency right now. And talking to Junior himself, I asked him, where have you seen your game grow the most over your time here at Toledo? And I loved his answer, because his answer was, I never used to like blocking. Now I love blocking. So yeah, really complete receiver, Junior Vanderos. I can't believe he only stands at 5'8", because his catch radius is so far outside of his body. But yeah, obviously the number 1 target for the Toledo Rockets. And again, speaking to him, the confidence of this young man, he said, you put me in one-on-one with anybody, I'm betting on myself every single time.
Chip Tranum, another big game for the transfer running back. He was named the MAC Offensive Player of the Week for his efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. Another 100-yard game for Chip Tranum. That is, I want to say, 4th on the season for Chip, and he just continues to rumble, Mark. And the one thing I don't think people realize is how much it wears on other teams' secondaries when he gets into the second level, because this is back-to-back weeks now that he's knocked an opposing team's cornerback pretty much out of the game because he's getting his shoulder pads lower than they are and really punishing those guys. And when you roll into the 3rd and 4th quarters, those hits pay dividends.
And keep in mind, Chip Tranum began his college career at Arizona State as a linebacker. So he does know how to deliver hits, something he uses now on the other side of the ball offensively as a running back. So the Rockets hit the road this week, going up to Mount Pleasant, Central Michigan. They're in that 4-way tie right now for 2nd place in the Mid-American Conference. So both teams have to win this game. Only one will. From the Rockets' perspective, they need a victory to get to Detroit. They need to beat Central and then root for either Buffalo or Ball State to knock off either Ohio or Miami. A 3-way tie between the Rockets, the Bobcats, and the Redhawks is bad news for Toledo. That sends Miami on a very iffy tiebreaker, but that's the scenario that the MAC has set up, where you're going by the strength of schedule of the opponent's winning percentage, and Toledo's left out, and Miami, despite losing to both Ohio and Toledo, a 3-way tie. Miami goes to Detroit.
Yeah, well, let's start with the first thing you said is they have to win at Kelly Short Stadium in Central Michigan, Mark. It is not an easy place to play at. Another first-year head coach in the Mid-American Conference, and Matt Drinkle has those guys playing really well right now. A team, he has them believing. Some really big guys on defense that'll disrupt you. But I thought Coach put it really well earlier this week in his press conference, in the fact that this isn't the same Central Michigan, but they're going to do some of the same things, and that is they have some really physical offensive linemen that are going to lean on you heavy, try and wear you down, and they're going to run the ball a ton. Also, something to watch out in this game, Central does not turn the ball over very much, and they take it away. So a big key for the Rockets in this one, you have to take care of the football.
And there's one other chaos factor to keep an eye on this week for MAC football. If Western, who's leading the league, if they should trip up against interstate rival Eastern Michigan, oh boy, does that increase the likelihoods and probabilities, and a whole bunch of different matchups could happen if Western should fall.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. It's crazy that we get down to this time of the year. And I don't want to just say it's in football. I mean, we see volleyball, we see baseball. You don't really know what's going to happen until the Mid-American Conference, until about the last week in the season. We'll sit here, we'll try and predict everything. And I've made the comment how many times this week? Well, it doesn't really matter what I'd say because it's probably going to be the opposite of what I think anyway. But yeah, looking forward to it and looking forward to seeing if the Toledo Rockets can get some help and maybe a trip up to Ford Field in the first week of December.
Rocket volleyball team won the MAC tournament as the 4 seed, so crazy things certainly do happen in the Mid-American Conference postseason scenarios. As Toledo, again, they need a win on Saturday, and then they'll go from there. We know they'll be playing a bowl game. We'll see if they're going to play in the MAC championship game as well. Pete Seymour, thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Mark. Happy Thanksgiving. Go Rockets.